talking about the Titans here. The Titans.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone. It is gone. It is bedlam at the bank.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Phillies postgame show with KJ McCoy, Ballpark Tommy, Dalt, and Fratty. Proudly powered by TickPick. Check out the link in the bio for $10 off your first order today. Let's take it to the show.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in to the most probably insane Phillies postgame of the 2026 season. I'm here with Fratty. The Phillies come from behind, score 8 runs in the bottom of the top of the ninth with 2 outs. Bryson Stott with a homer. Brandon Marsh with a homer. Oh my God, what a win, Fratty.
Oh, definitely. What a win. I feel like I was reliving to what the New York Mets were doing to us in a sort of way in the 2024 NLDS. But what the Mets did to us, we did to the Nationals tonight for at least one night tonight. And I'll tell you what, what's the name? It was one of those games that was an up and down roller coaster. You couldn't really tell who was going to win that game. Then 2 outs in the night came. We thought it was over. Jesse was working on the graphics, thinking it was over. But somehow, some way, in the most improbable fashion, 8 runs with 2 outs. 8 runs with 2 outs. I bet you if Rob Thompson, I'm going to put shame on Rob right now. I know Rob's long gone. If Rob Thompson was the manager, this would not happen. Yeah. This would not happen. There is just something about Philly Don that is so special with this team that every time that it takes the air out of us Phillies fans, he hooks us back in. He brings us back in. Brent, and I'll say this, but getting to your topic now, what a comeback. My first point I want to make here is Brandon Marsh. I have hated on this man. I have doubted on this man in the past. But this man has rejoiced Fratty's hopes on him being a Philly for life. Because this man this year, compared to this man last year, has really rejuvenated the Philadelphia Phillies, has really created a spark on offense. And this dude definitely deserves an all-star bid. The way he's just smoking the home run balls, I think he's gotten stronger. I know people don't like his beard. Some people don't like his beard out there telling him to shave it. But I'll tell you one thing. The dude has found himself this year. He's found himself. If he's a lock for an all-star, there's no reason why he shouldn't be in the all-star game. He and even Bryson Stott, along with him in that 9th inning, you had those 2 home runs. You had Trey Turner coming to life in his final few at-bats tonight, getting a single, an RBI single. And then everybody stepping up. And this is all without Kyle Schwarber, who was hurt tonight. Usually Kyle Schwarber has been carrying the load lately. But I have made a testimony in the Phillies group chat that other guys except those Harper and Schwarber need to step up. Guess what? Bunch of other guys came in there and step up. That's what they have to do if they want to. If other guys besides Harper and Schwarber and Marsh sometimes can Marsh maybe I can add Marsh to the picture. Out of those 3 guys, the other guys can go in there, step up when it matters, especially when we make the playoffs. when we make the playoffs in these situations, because we need to be in these situations just in case we fall behind. We need to learn how to fight back, because this is what Phillies baseball is about. 2008, 2009, 2010, that era, 2022. It's what it's about, and I'll tell you what, the Phillies, if they can get themselves together like this, they have a chance to be scary. And I know people are going to say, like, Friday, what are you talking about? You said they're going to lose. And Jesse, what are you talking about? You said the Phillies were going to lose in the NLDS. Well, I don't know. I don't know. This Phillies team could be scary when it has sparks and key moments. And
Yeah.
we beat a good Washington Nationals team. Nationals team isn't garbage. Remember, we just lost to them last night. It held us to a run. We came back. We scored 8 runs versus a national team who's a lot improved this year and who's a possible playoff contender, borderline playoff contender this year, maybe wildcard contender. But like I said, Jesse, I'll let you talk for a minute in a sec. But I'm impressed. I'm really. Really, we had a 15-run game the other night when Frosty and Jonah were on, and now 3 nights later we have a 14-run game. I don't know when the last time we had 2 big offensive outbursts like that in a couple nights. I don't know. It's probably been over 10 years since we had 2 lopsided big runs, crooked number of runs in a few nights like that. I'm talking about like 14 or more runs. I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all. I'll say this: if Brandon Marsh isn't an all-star, that's a crime against humanity. It really is. But we're getting to the point where Brandon Marsh seriously needs to be considered to be getting MVP votes. It's that absurd. It is that ridiculous how much of a stud Brandon Marsh has been this year. He's gotten 270 at-bats. He's got a 315 average, 851 OPS. You want to talk about this outfield, this Phillies outfield, it's bad. Besides Adolis and Crawford, Brandon Marsh has been carrying this offense for the longest time. And it goes to show, right now he's second in all of the NL outfield voting for that spot. Andy Paz is ahead of him for some reason, which is ridiculous. But he's ahead of guys like Ronald Acuna Jr. and Michael Harris. But it's to the point where I really think Brandon Marsh should be getting MVP votes. He's that much of a dominant force. And we talked about how this guy can't hit lefties. And yes, there is an argument to be made. He really has not been hitting lefties well in his career. But, this year against left-handed pitching, let me get that real fast. And I don't have it. He has been remarkable. I don't have it, but he's been remarkable. Baseball is about the eye test. I don't even need the stats to know that he's been fantastic against left-handed pitching. But we have Dalton in the house joining us. Dude.
Yeah, and if you want to look up that stat, I was going to say, I
win.
can cover it for you for a second.
Yep.
But man,
man. Yeah.
That was a football game tonight. That's why I don't talk about the Phillies. I talk about the Eagles. And tonight, they were the Philadelphia Eagles out there. As much as I hate to bring the Eagles into this, but damn, like that was an ass whooping. And I heard Fratty say it a few minutes ago. That's like 29 runs combined between 2 games in under a week. So 2 things. Number 1, I really hope that they don't crap out. Like David Bergner said in years past, and I've said that on the postgame show many times, I hope they didn't use all their energy. Because, unfortunately, I remember a couple years ago, before the All-Star break, Brandon Marsh was having a very similar season. some could even argue, like arguably MVP candidate, which sounds crazy to say, but I remember he was playing insane out of his mind. I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. I'm hoping that he can find a way to continue this success, because if he can, I think that he's going to have a long career in the MLB. Like, I watched Brandon Marsh play tonight, and I'm like, this is why the Phillies traded for him. Like, when he is humming along and he's playing good baseball, that's why the Phillies made this move. And yes, sometimes it doesn't pan out. Last season, I know we had our moments with him, but as long as he can continue to be this version of himself, once we get to the playoffs, we might have our third superstar. Like, we very well might. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Brandon Marsh, I looked it up. Thank you for stalling for just a quick second. But again, Brandon Marsh hitting 279 against left-handed pitching this year. He's mashing against righties. And again, if Brandon Marsh is not an all-star, it is a legit crime against humanity. If he's not the starting left fielder, it is a crime against humanity. The strides that he has made this year, he's carrying the legacy of the, what do you call it? The daycare. He's carrying that. Like, everybody was like, oh, the daycare died because, Alec Bowman and Stott, like, they haven't been crushing it. Brandon Marsh has been crushing it this year. And if he's not the starting left fielder come whenever the All-Star game is in July, it's a joke. This league is rigged and doomed if that is not the case. I honestly feel like if the Phillies when the Phillies make the playoffs, not if. That's ridiculous. There are some certain people on this program that do not think the Phillies are going to make the playoffs. They're delusional. Regardless, when the Phillies make the playoffs, Brandon Marsh, to me, he's your guy that's going to step up. I got this feeling. I really do. You've got Stott, who's done some damage in the playoffs. You've got Harper, obviously. Schwarber. JT even had an inside the park home run in one of those games against the Braves. I think Brandon Marsh is due for a big October. What do you guys think? Friday,
I'll let you go first.
Yeah.
I think he is. I expect him to really. I expect him to really step up, but I mean, am I counting on it? Maybe, but we'll see. I mean, I'm counting on him to step up, but I'm more worried about Alec Bohm than I am worried about Brandon Marsh right now. I'm more worried about him choking in big moments. But getting back to Marsh, I think if he plays up to this level that he's playing to right now, he can really step in there. But here's the thing: there's going to be some elite level pitching when it comes to the postseason, and do I expect Brandon Marsh to rake like this? It depends. They're going to try to pitch around Brandon Marsh. Some teams have the scouting reports out there on him, and it's not going to be as easy for him. He's going to have to battle and grind it out versus some of these elite pitchers, so-called elite pitchers out there. Whether he faces the Braves, Dodgers, all those teams, and that's the factor that comes in. That's the big deciding factor of whether Brandon Marsh goes off is depending on what pitchers he's going to face. Because obviously, when Rob Thompson used to be the Phillies manager, he had the stupid analytics thing saying he benching him against lefties. It was so stupid. And I've been saying it for years. You got to play Brandon Marsh versus anybody. And now, look what's happening. Didn't he face the lefty multiple times, and he's hitting off of him all of a sudden?
Yeah. Again, 279 on the year. He can absolutely hit lefties. I don't get that premise. I just don't. He's been mashing regardless. But moving on to the very next topic, you had Jesus. Before this, sort of ridiculous comeback. If I'm doing that even justice, you had Jesus Luzardo letting up 4 early on in today's game. 4 in the fourth inning, but he also ended the game with 13 strikeouts. So I don't know, was that sort of blow up his fault?
I'll say this. Yes and no. Like, it's a double-edged sword, right? You got 13 strikeouts, so you were a huge contributor to not allowing a lot of runs today, but you also allowed 4 runs. So I would say it's like a double negative, like a double-edged sword, for lack of a better term. Love Luzardo, but I still think he's young, and he's still got a lot of time to develop and learn, and that's a good thing. I think he's a very good prospect for the Phillies. I really like Jesus Luzardo as a person, like off the field. I think he has a very good head on his shoulders. I think he's a very sharp young man, and I think that the Phillies have an exceptional prospect with him. So as long as he can continue to craft his game, get better, learn from like tonight is what I call a good and bad game for a pitcher. You had 13 strikeouts, but you let up 4 runs. Take the good, take the negative, take it as a whole, figure out what you need to keep, figure out what needs to go, and be better next week. But overall, I mean, I'm a big Luzardo guy. I really like this kid. I like what he brings to the table. I like his personality. So I think, look, in the first place, it's not easy to go out in the MLB and put up 13 strikeouts. He's just got some fine-tuning to do on his game on the other side where he let up those runs.
Yeah, and the starting pitching has been the Phillies' strength for the longest time. Having Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler in the top half of your rotation is already disgusting. So the argument can be made when the deadline comes around. Listen, you might not need a starting pitcher, but we've also seen what guys like Andrew Painter brought to the table, which was not good. You've seen Aaron Nola having a little bit of a down year. Luzardo being actually, solid in his last 2 starts, but tonight was a little off. Now, I mean, it's so tough because you get games like this where the offense puts up 8 runs in the 9th inning, and you're like, oh my God, maybe we don't need offense. And you go more of the pitching route. I've heard from a source close to the situation that the Phillies are looking at a back-end starter type role in a guy like Joe Ryan. I talked about him the other night. He's been really good. And I mean, you also got to consider the farm system aspect, because I don't know if you want to give a guy like Gage Wood, like Aiden Miller, like Francisco Renteria, who's a 17-year-old beast. I don't know. Maybe it's you go full bore on the bullpen, because Christ almighty, Ryan Kirkner was bad tonight, and I don't know if I entirely blame him, because I feel like he maybe should have been pulled with runners in scoring position. We know how bad he is, so maybe that's just on Rob. I don't know. After a game like this, Freddie, I don't know where the Phillies go from here in terms of the trade deadline.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know Dalton pretty much touched off most of what I was going to say, but of course he'll be fine as long as he touches up a few things. But if I had to say where Jesus fits in the starting rotation if we make the playoffs or when we make it, I think I would still put him ahead of Aaron Nola despite all this. I would put him ahead of Nola. I would put Jesus possibly game 3. I would put Wheeler game 1, Sanchez game 2. Even though Sanchez and Wheeler, it's a toss-up, but I'd still say Wheeler because he's still your main guy. Sanchez game 2. You put Luzardo game 3. Nola game 4, but you might have to piggyback somebody with Nola, and I'm talking about a best of 5 situation, possibly, if we're up 2-1.
Yeah,
but I don't know. That's a conversation for a different day. But we still need another starter, and I don't know who it would be. It's a tough call, but honestly, our outfield wise, Gabriel Roncons, Rico, I'm not. Yeah, he actually didn't look bad tonight. Hill isn't Hill's actually hitting the ball, but here's my thing. Here's my thing. Dave Dombrowski, right, and Don Mattingly, they're content about keeping keeping. They really like the roster they have. Besides getting pitchers, do they? Even though we're all saying they're going to sign an outfielder, this and that, do they keep the same lineup they have now? Even though we're down Garcia, in the outfield, do we keep what we have out there in the lineup right now at the present moment? Even though to not mess up with our chemistry, because every time we get it bad at the deadline, every time we get it bad, we don't end up we don't, it's not a success. Every time we sign a extra bat, we end up falling short every year. And I don't know if we want to mess with our chemistry with these young guys, send somebody down. That's another. But I still think they're not. Rokons is not fully rowdy. If we had to send him back down, send it back down. But I'm talking about for September, October wise, he might not be here in most of August anymore. But I think he'll be a good prospect for the future. But that's a tough call, to be honest. I hate to mess up the chemistry we have because I feel like we're having good chemistry with Hill and the other guy. But at the same point, we still need an outfielder. We still need a guy who can hit consistently, who could hit up to almost Brandon Marsh or ish like level. And I know it's a tough call. It's a tough decision to make. And I know Dave Dombrowski has to think about that too, because you know him, he's always content about things. And you do not never know with him if he decides to keep Hill and not add any bats. Be ready, guys. Be ready. Don't get me a be ready. I expect us to possibly stay put and not get a bat. I kind of expect it, but then I kind of don't. So I expect anything from Dave Dombrowski at this point, and I think you should too, Jesse. But I think more than likely, I'd say 60% chance we get a bat, 40% chance we don't. That's where I stand right now. I kind of almost half of me says that we kind of stay content and keep these younger guys on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it going either way too. Hill right now, he's actually a really solid game, especially in that ninth inning. Before you had the Bryson stop bomb, he got on, and did some damage. Right now, we'll start with Raconis. He's been actually not too great, but he had 2 hits tonight, raising that average up to 125. So, yikes! But hopefully, he can get things up in that department. In terms of Hill, he's got a slightly better average of 230. He had 1 hit, was a run when Bryson Stott hit that home run in the very next at bat, actually. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if these guys are totally sustainable. Is my problem. But again, the other thing, like I really am nervous about trading our farm system because it's like it's very, to me, it's kind of top heavy. You've got Morales, you've got Renteria, and then Renteria is 17 years old. You've got Aiden Miller, who's got back issues. You've got Gage Wood, who they're rushing through the system, and they tried the same thing with Painter, and Painter had a 5 ERA. So I don't know where the Phillies go, but I feel like at the same time you've got to go all in somehow because you don't know if you're going to have baseball in 2027. So again, I don't know because again, 8 runs in the 9th inning. That's not something that you can ignore, but it's also the Nationals who have a very, very bad bullpen. It's their hitting that has really kept them in contention. Their hitting is the top scoring offense in Major League Baseball. Their starting pitching is not actually that good, although Lord, who is a 5-1 on the year with a 3.31 ERA, actually is having a good year. But we touched him up as well. So I don't know. I don't know where the Phillies go from here. Drop your thoughts in the comments, folks. And I'm really after the stream ends, because I'm really interested to see where you guys stand. But going into the third game of the series, you got Aaron Nola on the bump for the Phillies. And with that, we send it over to Freddy's
Yo,
Corner.
Freddy, give him the business. Only in South Philly. Only at Freddy's Corner. It's Freddy's Corner.
Oh, Phillies win it. Sorry, 14-9. 7 games over 500 right now. Think about 2.5 ahead of Washington. We still holding second place in the NL East. I wanted to say one thing. Let me get a drink of water. But the Phillies, it's just unbelievable to see us come together here. No, times have been crazy lately, but it's been from the 9-19 start. We remember this team was 9-19. 9-19 to start the year. The season looked like it was in danger, in absolute danger. Earlier this year, this was about a couple months ago. It looked like it was absolute danger. But who would have thought that we would be talking about a team that scored 8 runs with 2 outs in the top of the ninth? It boggles my mind that we're even sitting here having this conversation after this team had a 9-19 start just a few short months ago, where Rob Thompson got fired as the manager. And here we are. We're one of the hottest teams since then in baseball. Don Mattingly, this man, I'll tell you what, if he isn't the Phillies manager next year, like I said weeks ago, then there's something wrong. He deserves to be a Phillies manager. We saved a guy that was about to retire from being an actual manager. He's about to be out of baseball soon. But I think we convinced this man to be manager for multiple years to come, potentially.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Don was just here to be a bench coach. Don was not here to be a manager. But this guy right here has really taken control in a very effective way. And I'll tell you what, this dude wants a ring. This dude has never won a ring. He's been in the game so long. He's never won a ring as a player, as a coach, as anything. He's been in the game for almost about 30-something years plus, and he's never won anything. But he's going to win something sooner rather than later with the Philadelphia Phillies. Whether it be this year, whether it be 27, 28, whatever. He's not going to leave the Phillies until he wins a ring, because I think Don Mattingly really wants a ring. I can tell by his facial expressions. He really wants to win. The Phillies really want to win. His son really wants to win. And maybe Dave Dombrowski is finally getting into his head, saying that and I know Dave really wants to win. He just needs to get his head together, because if he gets his head together, the Phillies will be okay. And in the Dutch voice saying, everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. And with that being said, I know I won't be back on postgame till Thursday, till the last game in the National Series, and then before we have another encore with me, Frank the Tank, JJ Seggs, and Matt Blair. Again, this weekend. On top of it,
boy.
it could be, with all the craziness going on lately between sports and non-sports, sad and negative and positive, we have Phillies and Mets again this weekend to pretty much top everything off. No matter what it is, you get the mix, you get the jinx, gist of everything, and I cannot wait for Phillies and Mets coming up again this weekend and in July. But with that being said, this is Friday here. I know, like I said to you guys once again, I as far as I know, well, right now I think I won't be on tomorrow night, but I'll be here Thursday, and I should be here the whole entire Mets series this weekend, and I possibly with Jonah joining us on Friday night. Potentially, we'll see what happens there. So it's gonna be. I'm really excited for what this postgame holds. I'm really excited to possibly meet up with a few group members. I'm really excited for All-Star Weekend and potentially going to the Village. I'm excited for a lot of things coming up, even though there's a lot of other stuff outside the sports world that's going on. Unfortunate things happening. I'm not going to get into it because I'll get upset. But otherwise, I'm excited for what's to come. Philadelphia is deserving of hosting an All-Star game. First time in my lifetime that we're hosting one. They haven't hosted one since '96. I can't wait for that. It's coming in like not even barely like 3 weeks from today. We're hosting the All-Star game. 20 days from now, Home Run Derby. I can't wait for that. And I can't wait. As I close out in a minute here, I can't wait to possibly meet Jesse. Hopefully, maybe potentially in August sometime. Before I know I have a little bit of a crazy schedule with going to a couple events, a Phillies and Eagles game later in August, and a few other things going on. But hoping to finally meet Jesse sometime within that time frame. Hoping to meet Jonah maybe next month. Potentially at the Village if it's not too crowded, and I'm hoping to see Dalton and KJ again. I'm excited for what times there is to come with the Phillies post game show with 302 Birds. It's exciting times right now. Exciting fresh faces, exciting energy here, going on, and I think Friday. I know I'm just coming off of having dry throat. I'm still having this dry throat problem. For the most part, everything else is good. I think Friday's going to end it there and rest his voice for the most part the rest of the night. So that's all I have to say.
Yep. Thank you all for watching, everybody. I'm Jesse Shrone. That's Friday. Donnie Baseball may have saved this franchise. That's all I got to say, though. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Nick's Pizza for sponsoring today's stream. Great win. Phillies go for another win tomorrow with Nolan on the bump. Like, comment, and subscribe for the best Philly sports content. But alongside Friday, I'm Jesse. Thanks for watching, and let's go, Phillies.
The Vikings.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's going, and it is gone! It is Bedlam at the bank!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Phillies postgame show with KJ McCoy, Ballpark Tommy, Dalt, and Fratty. Proudly powered by TickPick. Check out the link in the bio for $10 off your first order today.